This session will show you how to add heparin drip to a patient that has not been on heparin drip before. We will also discuss how to do a bolus with a drip, as well as the option of just doing the drip. So in order to place a patient on heparin drip, you would click the Add button. A search term window will come up. You can click on the search window and type in heparin, in which case you will see that there is a power plan called heparin drip / anticoagulation. You left click on it once and then click done to close your search box. Note that the anticoagulation power plan has loaded, and that you can see orders in the anticoagulation power plan. And since we are placing this patient on anticoagulation, we would want to select certain orders for safety, such as no IM injections, notify the provider if there is any bleeding that is occurring. Note the order details are listed here on the right side. There's also a PTT order, a communication order to the nurse to do a PTT while on heparin drip. And so to describe the heparin drip, the IV solutions section has the continuous IV infusion order. So that's the drip, the continuous drip. Then there's two additional heparin orders, one which is the bolus order. As you can see, there's a suggested 60 units per kilogram IV push bolus, and if you hover over the details, you will see that there is a for NSTEMI, it's recommended at 60 units. For thromboembolism, for that type of therapy, it's recommended at 80 units. However, there is a max of 5,000 units that is suggested. These references came from our pharmacy from Micromedics. And then there's the bolus per protocol order, which is always needed whenever someone is on heparin. It allows the nurses to bolus and rebolus per the protocol. So if you hover over the order details, you see the scale and the bolusing, rebolusing that the nurses will automatically do. So to place the patient on a bolus, you see that the order detail window pops up with asking you for how many units do you want to bolus. Since it's 60 units per kilogram weight based, you could pick a non-weight based format, or you could click this weight based calculator, open dose calculator. So you click that. This dose calculator pops up stating that this patient is the weight is actually quite, for a baby, but a typical, let's say 60 kilogram person, the bolus at 60 units per kilogram, the final dose would be 3,600 units, and so it auto calculates it for you. You still have the option of changing this to, let's say, 4,000 units. So whatever bolus amount you would like, you can type it into the final dose field, click apply, and you notice that the 4,000 units bolus gets applied to the chart. The second order to make sure that you select is this bolus protocol order. This order is needed regardless, because this is the rebolusing based off of PTTs. So once again, to reiterate, this is the continuous drip amount. Notice we haven't fully defined the unit amount here. You can do that by selecting the order and then right-clicking and modifying, in which case it will ask you for a starting rate. So the suggestion here is if you click on order comments, for most people you would start somewhere in the 500 to 1,000 range for an NSTEMI, as well as for thromboembolism. So a recommendation from pharmacy and PNT is to start people off on a constant amount of 500, between 500 to 1,000, and I'm being conservative. So that's the continuous drip amount after the bolus, so 500 units per hour. So notice now it says here starting rate will be 500. They'll get a bolus of 4,000, and there's a bolus per protocol based off of PTTs. So just to reiterate, if you wanted to do the bolus with the continuous drip, you would have this order selected. If not, you would unselect this order and so unselecting it would mean there would be no bolus of heparin. There would just be a starting of 500 units per hour. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to place the patient under a bolus of 4,000 units, and I'll put in 4,000 units, and I'll put in here 60 kilograms. Normally the nurses put in the actual weight here, and so this will get calculated out correctly. So we in this power plant also have basic set of PTTs, CBCs, and hemocults that can be ordered. We leave that up to the clinician for the decision of additional labs that need to be ordered on a clinical basis. So basically the orders in this power plan that you would want to select off would be the top 3 here, and then the continuous drip, the bolus order, and then the rebolusing. And so we would just click orders for signature, and it would process these orders, testing them against the order profile. This alert has come up, the heparin 8 PTT alert, stating there is no current PTT in the system. Would you like to get a baseline PTT? And you could say, sure, I would like to get a baseline stat PTT before starting my heparin. Alternatively, you can just click cancel, and it will not order any PTTs. In this case, because we don't have any PTTs, we have an alert. So I would say, sure, I want a baseline stat PTT. And this alert, I just clicked OK and the alert popped up again. This occurs because each heparin has its own alert, so that since we have 2 heparin medication orders, this alert will come up twice. The second time, you would just click OK to bypass it, as well as the third time. So there's 3 heparins that are ordered. Each one has its own PTT alert, and so you would just click OK after the first one because you ordered the PTT already off the first one, and then you click sign. And so this is how you place the patient on heparin drip with a bolus. If you click refresh, it states that now the patient will be on a bolus of 4,000, after which they'll get on a 500 units an hour drip, and then the nurses will rebolus and titrate the drip off of the bolus per protocol order. Thanks.